All right, well, spring is now here. Spring baseball has arrived. We are going to talk about the latest going on in Mets world right now, some stuff that we've heard from camp, some from reports, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we're just going to talk to you guys. We just thought we'd hop on the first day officially of spring training, I guess. There's some guys that, arrived earlier, but for now, we've got tons going on going into spring training, and still some questions that do need to be answered. Some stuff that we heard from Buck Showalter and some of the players, so we'll get into all of that. Let's just roll the intro. Baseball is officially back, guys. We're excited. I hope you guys are as well. Let's go. All right, for those of you in here right now, and for those of you coming in and out, for those of you watching on the playback, make sure to hit the like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you have not already. All of us individually, all of our links are in the description as well. So, right now is the first day of pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. And we got quite a few stuff. We've got quite some stuff that came out today. Obviously, this is kind of like our first ever panic day of for Mets fans, obviously, because we usually get the spurts of news of who's hurt, who's looking to kill each other, what's the problem, what's going on. And pretty much Mets beat reporters just love to eat that up. So that's pretty much the stage that we usually get on the first day of spring training. We've had some good, some bad. But, I mean, I'm just ready for baseball to be started. Let me turn it over to my co-host, Andrew Acevedo. How do you feel right now? What are your main takeaways so far?
Yeah, it's the first day of spring, so we started to see some clips falling out at the beginning of the week or ending of last week. Seeing the guys coming down with pitchers and catchers reporting on the Monday after the Super Bowl, and again, not really seen anything bad publicly. We could see from other organizations it seems to be the biggest negativity, but within the organization, it's been pretty positive. Again, seeing Scherzer and Verlander in the Mets gear, Brooks Raley, seeing all the new pitchers as well. We finally saw Pete Alonso. We saw Lindor and Nimmo, and the kids have been down there for about a week now. Pete finally made an appearance and is extremely thin, which, a little creepy to see Pete Alonso this thin, not jacked, but just thinned as a supposed chungus. But again, it felt pretty good to see everybody out there. No injury concerns yet, which is always good. Get that first day of, nope, there's nobody came through, did their bullpens, no tightness in anything. So, again, it feels good. Again, just happy to have baseball back. Games in 10 days. First spring training games in 10 days. So we'll see full workouts, I think, are next week or next Monday? At the first, when everybody's supposed to be reported by Monday, I believe. So, again, we're just seeing everybody see the pitchers, because it's not everybody yet because they're still not in full jerseys. You're seeing some guys in jerseys, some guys still in the just basic Mets t-shirts. So, again, it's nice to see some of the new faces, but again, we got 10 days to games, and obviously the WBC on the 5th. So, that's kind of the main target for everything. Just everybody stay healthy going towards it, and then we'll see what happens. Obviously with the battles we will break into. We broke down in a video coming out soon about the fifth start, the bullpen battles. There's still a ton of stuff coming that we're going to be covering throughout spring training. It's just finally good to see baseball back and having football be done, and it's just kind of the only sport. Well, no, you have basketball and hockey, but who cares?
I care. I have two teams that I care with those two sports, but I think that the first thing that I've seen from the first day of spring training so far is I kind of got to get my first feel and my first basically impression of how it kind of is at the top with Verlander and Scherzer because, even though they're at the older side of their careers, and we know that there are the injury concerns and whatever, this was at the point when they signed Verlander. I mean, just for me, I was still hurting from Jacob deGrom. It was kind of just like it felt like a consolation prize. There wasn't really much excitement coming from me. But right now, you finally get to visually see it, and I'm seeing it as we got two future Hall of Famers here. These are legends right here that are, both pitching at the top of our rotation in Verlander and Scherzer. So it is great to see that, these guys who have been in the league for so long and they've had so much success, they're still coming off of some of their best seasons last year. And, I'm really excited to see, what this new look of Mets team looks like. Even though they didn't make, the upgrades that we wanted in certain areas, I'd say that the pitching is definitely going to take the front stage, obviously, with, their biggest spotlight leaving. And now there's a lot coming in. There's a lot new guys coming in. The whole rotation is new. So it's going to be it's definitely going to be quite the showcase, and I'm definitely excited to see how it does get presented, because there's going to be a lot of questions to be answered because there's some uncertainty, but I think it'll be a somewhat of a fun ride here.
Yeah, and again, we've seen Verlander. Verlander bullpen on Monday. Yeah, sure. Quintana pitched his yesterday. Then obviously today Scherzer threw his. Then we still getting the other bunch of relievers: Zach Green, Jimmy Yacobonis. Just seeing everybody, all the new guys from the minor league deals to big league deals, having everyone there. And like you said, again, it's a new 3/5 of the rotation is brand new guys. Again, Senga being the big unknown, obviously Verlander being that future Hall of Famer, the defending American League Cy Young. So again, it's just wait and see. Obviously, we have 10 days to games, and God knows when and who is going to pitch what days with the spring training schedule coming out, and who's one are you going to be able to watch? Because we obviously know we love spring training. Not every single spring training game can be watched. Great job, MLB, at growing the game. There are some days you still can't watch, 2 games of playing. It's not on television. So I think they did a better job. A lot of games on ESPN this year for the Mets. I saw spring training, which is good. And, hey, promote one of the bigger teams in baseball, which is pretty cool. I think 3 straight days they're on ESPN. I think it's like the second week of spring training. I think 3 straight days the Mets are going to be on ESPN, which is good for me. Out of stater. Obviously, I'll watch mine on the websites we use or the MLB app. So again, I'm excited to see the battles. Again, the team's pretty much locked up. Every position is secure, minus, a few, obviously, maybe Beatty taking third base, maybe Alvarez if he has a Barry Bonds spring training behind the plate. But we all know what the 1 through 9 lineup's going to be and what the bench is. It's really just small things, the fringe of the bullpen, and then who will be the 5th starter and who's the long man. So that's kind of what this is going to be. Again, the roster is pretty much locked in. And when you're a pretty good team, you don't really have many battles in spring training. Look around some of the best teams, their rosters are locked in spring training. Maybe a bullpen or 2 spot like the Mets have, and then the 5th starter spot. Same thing with San Diego, where they have a bunch of guys battling for it. So, again, I'm happy that we're seeing highlights, and it's fun. I wish I was down in Port St. Lucie. I got friends down there getting autographs and making me jealous. But, again, just having baseball back, I've been tired of watching kind of basketball and hockey and football. I'm like, I like it, but the fact that the Mets are back gives us more shit to talk about too. So it's better going through the mild 3 weeks of after Correa. They didn't do anything besides 2 minor signings. So to have for content reasons and just my personal health, I like it when the Mets are better. The Mets are playing, the Mets are doing something. I'm pretty happy. So usually, even if they lose, but again, it's just good to see the guys working out games in 10 days and the WBC giving opportunities to the young kids. So again, for the prospect hugger and myself, I get to watch more Beatty and Alvarez while the big boys are playing in the WBC, playing for their country. So, it's a wait and see, but pretty fun.
Yeah, a big topic that did come up today, obviously, because the New York media has to be the New York media. They talked to Pete Alonso, obviously. The first question before he could even breathe or sit down, contract extension. He obviously has pretty much made it a pretty much established. He's pretty much established that they are going to keep these things behind closed doors. He talked about how he loves being here, and that's what they all say. But I think that Jeff McNeil getting the extension, Nimmo is going to be here for a long time. Edwin Diaz getting the extension. This is probably the next step as to what is the next big contract that is given out by Steve Cohen. I think that Pete is most likely going to be that guy, unless there is a big guy on the free agent market that the Mets get. No one can guarantee that. Obviously, the Mets have Pete Alonso's ear right now for the next 2 years, and we'll see where that actually heads. Nothing really new on that front, but that's something that we can say of where Pete Alonso, he did discuss, where he was at with this whole extension thing, saying that he's going to keep it private, and I think that's the right thing to do. The Mets have done a great job keeping things behind closed doors, and even though we don't really know much until it full on comes out, I think it is the right thing for them to do.
Yeah, and this extension thing, obviously the fans have been yelling, and obviously with McNeil getting his, everyone is ranged from the top of their houses yelling that it has to get done. For the Mets, obviously spending a lot of money. We've made it clear the Mets financially down the line are very flexible. But this is a contract, even if it does go to free agency. This isn't a Bogarts. This isn't a Turner where it's $300 million for a first baseman. So even if you let him test, which I wouldn't like to. I would like to get a deal done. I would like to get a deal done with Pete Alonso and lock him up and never see him test the market a la kind of Jeff McNeil. But we saw with Nimmo and Diaz, they will get these guys extended even if they test the market. This isn't going to be one of those giant contracts. So the Mets kind of look at it and say, hey, we can guarantee him. We have him for 2 more years. We have 2 more arbitration seasons. He's probably going to get a raise again next year like he did this year, but it's not going to touch maybe $21 million next year. Last year of arbitration to play it out. In this contract, yeah. Is it going to be crazy? It's probably going to be 6-7 years, close to $20 million per season. But I don't see it going that much higher. And again, for the positional value, there's not going to be a team running to give a first baseman $300 million. So even if you let him test, you let him see what he can get out there, the Mets have done it before. Now you have a track record of, hey, the guys touch the market, they can bring them back now. This isn't like, oh, if free agency, they're gone. Like, no, Cohen has now put that to bed. If he wants them back, doesn't matter what the price tag is. So I think this is more the fans just want to get it done and have it be like, okay, done. But also I think Tony brought this point up on one of the episodes of the podcast. What if you go out and sign one of the superstars next year? What if, you sign one of those guys? You're putting a big number there next to that guy's name and maybe takes Pete Alonso's spot. Maybe that if you bring in that guy, maybe makes, okay, you know what? Even if it's a 1 year till I'm walking, maybe if there's more protection, it's a better team. Maybe he takes the hometown discount. But McNeil, and we saw this with McNeil, McNeil took a full hometown discount. He could have tested the market and probably got a little higher AAV, maybe not the term. Maybe could have got a higher AAV from somebody, but he took the hometown discount. Pete hasn't he's said it like he shows it, but he really hasn't shown. Obviously, we've not seen with arbitration. They've been cool with it because they didn't, obviously with Jeff, they were going to go to the arbitrator. Like they weren't going to get a deal done. They didn't agree on a number. So then the Mets said, okay, instead of doing that, let's work the extension. Pete right away said, okay, let's agree at, what was it, 13 or whatever, 14, whatever his ARB number was this year.
$14.5 million.
Yeah. So like they instantly agreed. Kind of like the Bo Bichette. It's either when you sign the 1 year, you're probably not getting an extension. That's kind of like arbitration is kind of that thing of it gets extensions done because nobody wants to go to that arbitrator, especially like in Bo Bichette's case with 3 years. They bought the last 3 years out with Jeff McNeil. They said, you know what, let's buy the last 2 and tack on 2 more years. So again, I think this is more of a fan thing. I think the front office knows, hey, even if he tests, this isn't going to be, it's probably bigger than Nimmo's contract, but probably not that much more, especially for a first baseman. So they're not going to be like, hey, we're not going to get into a $400 million bidding war for this guy. Yes, he's very important, and I know the power surge, he's the only thing there. But again, I think if you let him test, this isn't going to be a giant contract number, AAV, or total number-wise. Maybe a little bit of AAV if somebody throws a Dodgers, like Freeman type deal in front of him. But I think this is more a fans just being scared of losing him than the front office actually really wanting to get this done. I think they've had talks, but I think they're like, okay, we can let this run these last 2 years. Why are we going to pay more for a guy who, one, we want to bring back, but we have confidence if he even hits the open market, we can get him re-signed. So again, I would love to see it, but I'm not as optimistic as I was maybe a few weeks ago.
I think that, if they were to 100% extend Alonso, we all know that, a first baseman, it's just a different position. And that's, I think, something that we need to obviously take into account. Like, yes, he may hit like a $300 million hitter at some times, smashing his 40, 45 home runs that are usually guaranteed every single year. I think that, like, I think that they need to let it play out, obviously, and it's kind of just goes with the counteracting of Pete Alonso. Yes, I talk about the desperation of a power surge and how the Mets only have one main power bat in Pete Alonso, but I can tell you right now, you do have power upside with Beatty, Alvarez, and Vientos, maybe even Mauricio, who knows, with these prospects. When you look at 2 years from now when he is going to test free agency, if he does, obviously, if he makes it there, things are going to be a lot different. We're going to know maybe what Beatty is. Maybe we'll know what Alvarez is. We'll know what Mauricio is, if he's even here. We'll know what these young guys who could be power protection bats for Pete Alonso, we just don't know yet. And even though Pete Alonso should have power protection behind him, I think that at this point, I think we need to accept that this is the lineup that they want. They want to bring in, from the minor league system. They want to obviously, call these guys up and give them the chance to, either sink or swim. And that's when they're going to probably determine after this, 2-year frame, which we're obviously talking about, that lines up with Pete Alonso as well. We talked about how it lined up with McNeil. It also lines up with Alonso. So I don't think there's any rush right now. Would I love for them to extend him right now? Of course, I would love to extend him right now, but I don't think it is realistic, especially with, whether it's the demanding number or, where the Mets are at right now, and them trying to, bring in these short-term contracts, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. What do you mean you have sexy back power? Well, it's not prolific power. It's power. He's got power. But at tops, this guy's hitting 20 out of here. We need somebody who can hit 30, 35 to protect Alonso and actually be almost as big of a threat as he is in the cleanup spot. Alonso, yes, as powerful as he is, I can tell you right now, they pitch around him. They will pitch around him to get to the guy right behind him. We've seen that many, many times. Not to mention, Pete Alonso, this is a thing with lack of power protection, gets some of the prolific power hitter as compared to, what he was in his rookie year when there was a little bit more power around him. So, yes, Vogelbach does have power, and he could show it, and maybe maybe in a full season, maybe he just completely surprises us and hits 35, but I don't think we can really guarantee that. And
the fact that they don't add any other secondary level of power, like again, Mark Canha, as the pending UFA that he is, there was a guy that obviously I'm going to continue to yell his name out until he's going to be a pending free agent. You could have added power in left field to make Canha the fourth outfielder, so you don't have to sign a Tommy Pham, who maybe provide you 12 to 15 homers, and a guy like a Hunter Renfroe. There were guys, hell, even Jesse Winker was available. You could have went out and added, kind of moved to Mark Canha into that Tommy Pham role to have a new corner left fielder who could have provided you some 25-plus homer. Andrew Painter thoughts. I love Mike. He's a Phillies fan. He always pops in with the Andrew Painter love. Guys, he's a stud. He's going to be a pain in the ass. But please, do what you do best, Phillies, and ruin your pitching prospects. That's a Mets fan. But again, I've said, don't ruin the kid, but please.
I can't really say much about Philly. They made it to the World Series last year. I mean, Did we have the upper hand against them? Yeah, but they got to the World Series. We didn't, so I'm not.
I mean, they got to play the Braves in the first round instead of us.
And then they also got better. I mean, Trey Turner's an incredible signing, whether you like it or not.
I mean,
Long term, maybe not. Again, the speed, who knows?
Did
But I will tell you right now,
Taijuan Walker. Did they get better?
they did sign Taijuan Walker, and not to mention that helps them so much. But
3 young pitchers in your system. What pitchers, Mike? We ain't got pitchers in our system. We don't even have a Mick Abel level pitcher in our system. And I like Mick Abel, but obviously it's Painter, Abel, and then everybody else. But there ain't no pitching in the Mets system.
There isn't much, and the best one, the best highest upside one, just got his 3rd surgery in the last 2 years. So yeah, fantastic. Do we even consider him a prospect at this point? Because you have to pros the act, you have to see him play,
I'm gonna counter a point with Joe saying that Dombrowski would trade him. Dombrowski's done this before with a 21-year-old pitcher in Rick Porcello when he was a kid. I wouldn't be surprised if Painter has a good spring. He makes the team out of camp, which he should be in AAA. But I wouldn't put it past Dombrowski because he's done it before. He could be the Phillies' 5th starter, and that's the fact that rotation, even with the meatball thrower and Taijuan Walker, that's a formidable rotation. If Painter is the 5, and hell, probably by midseason, and then once Phillies fans realize Taijuan Walker sucks, he'll be the number 3 starter behind the 2 aces.
Oh, trading Taijuan Walker. I thought he said trading Andrew Painter. I was like, why? No. Taijuan Walker, no one's going to want that contract, so they're kind of fucked. But is it 4 hard years?
4 years,
hard years,
70
correct?
Something million, all guaranteed.
Hard years. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. I mean, hell, Michael Walker just got 4.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
But I think it's all options. I think it's all probably options.
It has to be. It better be. Does Spot Track have something?
Hey, let's see. Hey guys, do you think we sign another left? I hope, but
pinned comment in the chat right now.
Yeah, go check out.
That's the guy they should get right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
But there is also another lefty that we can bring up for a second. The Mets were in attendance for his showcase. What are we calling these workouts? Whatever.
Showcase.
What other teams was there? There was Dodgers, Cubs, Angels, something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 6 teams. How do you feel? I mean, Giants contender. We're not. Well, I said we're barely a playoff team, and I'll take my fraud playoff appearance. There's others that have said dumber shit, but we're not the Cowboys. We're not. Hey, we're going Super Bowl every year.
It's like the Broncos. They're a quarterback away. It's just
they're a quarterback away. The Giants are just a receiver.
All right. Enough about the Giants. No, enough about the Giants. All right. They were a good team 2 years ago.
That's what the people are asking.
I know, but they were a good team 2 years ago. They have Michael Conforto now. They got J.D. Davis, whatever. Okay, so
let's talk Britain.
But Britain. Now, why? That's my first point. Why? I understand why Buck Showalter has a big relationship with Zach Britton, even though you didn't use him in that playoff game. What the hell? But he'll never live that down until he actually wins a playoff series and goes deep into the playoffs. But I can tell you right now, I wouldn't mind it, but it has to be a minor league deal. Again, I think I've said this multiple times. It has to be a minor league deal, and I don't think he's going to want to take that. If that's your second lefty, there is some concerns, in my opinion, because I know that you have Joey Lucchesi and you have David Peterson or whatever. If Joey Lucchesi seems to be the second lefty as of right now on the depth chart, the second possibility, because David Peterson, they've basically seen that they want to have him compete for the 5th starter role. Josh Walker's a non-roster invite who always seems to get the short end of the stick, but. There's injury concern with Joey Lucchesi, obviously. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He throws in a very weird motion that can really fuck up your elbow, and it makes sense why he had Tommy John surgery. But another guy who has injury concerns in Zach Britton, why not just give Joey Lucchesi the chance if you're looking at Zach Britton? Like that's what I just see as him being that second lefty. And I understand Zach Britton has more electric stuff than Joey Lucchesi. Joey Lucchesi's a lot more of location and finesse. And Zach Britton had the history of, throwing very hard and having this reliever type of stuff, good slider, good fastball. So Britton market unfolds, and we obviously did a video about this, and that video came out yesterday about a certain lefty that the Mets should go after. It was not Zach Britton, and it was basically in tone to the top flight lefty right now, the top flight lefty on the that was on the market, Andrew Chafin, basically setting the market, and we have quite a few left-handed relievers out there still on the market with pitchers and catchers reporting already. Zach Britton, like we just said, Will Smith, somebody in the chat just said that. Brad Hand is out there. Fuck off. And then our guy, which we just talked about, who I won't reveal at all because I'm a good guy.
Are you, though? I guess with Britton, I don't hate it. If it's like a $2 million deal, I don't think I think it'll be a 1-year major league deal.
Too much.
But if it's got to be $2 million, who cares? Because here's the thing, Lucchesi. I make the there's people who have made this joke. We think Joey Lucchesi. We're high on Joey Lucchesi, and then it seems the Mets front office seems to be. But again, you're taking a starter and trying to make him a reliever when we've seen it's not a natural. Some people adjust well, some don't. Yes, we believe Lucchesi can be a reliever. Yeah, but again, that's all based on belief, and we have no track record of, Lucchesi being a reliever. So if the Mets, again, which they were hell-bent, they have to have these 2 open roster spots, which makes sense for these guys, the optionable guys. If they go out and sign Zach Britton to a big league deal, then why not do that for Chafin? Especially what the price tag of Chafin was, then I don't get this. Obviously, it would be a nice again, I would take him on a minor league. I'd take anybody on a minor league deal. The Cubs just signed Fermil Reyes on a minor league deal to take that power chungus off the board. But I think it's an idea. Yes, you've got the Buck connection. I would again. I've punched the ground. I want a second lefty in the bullpen. I've said it. I don't want to burn out Brooks Raley and turn him into Edgin and Loop where
stop
they
bringing that name up. You gotta stop that.
These guys have great years.
That's a sore subject. Stop it.
At least we're not Pirates fans. Yes. But yeah, I need a second lefty in the pen, and I don't want it to be David Peterson. And again, I don't want it to be Lucchesi because we have not seen Joey Lucchesi be a major league reliever. We know we think Lucchesi would be a great reliever. We haven't seen it. But I don't like the fact that if they go out and sign what's it called? Let's say they give him $3 million, then you're gonna have us and you're gonna have everyone say, if you're paying $3 million for Britton, why wouldn't you give the 6 for Chafin? So I think this is just them doing their due diligence because they have the Buck connection. Epler working with the Yankees. I could understand it. I hope again if it's a minor league deal or a big league deal for like $1 million, fine. But I think they need to keep those. If they've made it clear they want those 2 up and down, optionable young relievers that I think we both high on Deoka, and that would give the ability to get Deoka on the roster full time. If Steven Writing's elite, you have to keep those roster spots open. And if you just bring in Britton, takes one of those spots away. 1, why did you pay Chafin if you're going to do that? And 2, it takes that ability of seeing Deoka full time on the bullpen on the major league roster, or if Writings has is what high upside the Yankee fans were all miserable about when they DFA'd him and showed that high 100 mile an hour is maybe our version of Evan Phillips, or to that extent, guy comes out of nowhere. You take that away, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's meh, but I don't know.
I know, but maybe he can be an Alex Claudio with because he's got funk to him as well, and that's what I think can turn him into a possible reliever. And I also believe that they just want to keep the guy healthy, and he's coming off of Tommy John surgery, and who knows, but. This is not like, Tyler McGill, or this is not like, some of these guys who just don't do well fairly in the bullpen. But, he is projected, whether it's steamer or the bat or zips or whatever you want to talk about, he is projected to he is projected to make about 20-ish appearances out of the bullpen for us. So I think that he is going to be put in the position as a reliever, and I don't think they're going to probably push it, even if they do have a lot of options for him to be in the starting rotation if they need him to be.
And I think he's a prime candidate. Again, like we said it with Peterson and McGill, but like he's kind of a more prime Trevor Williams replacement because, like, yes, I think he is a starter, but he's not a guy you can go, hey, go get me 7. Like, he's not that guy. He can give you 3 to 4, bullpen blows, or Senga gets blown up in the first inning. He's the kind of guy that can give you 4 innings and, save a couple relievers in the arm. So he's kind of, again, we make it with Peterson and McGill with the battle of who's going to be that 5th starter, who's going to be the long man, where we need that replacement with Trevor Williams. He's kind of Ryan Yarbrough to an extent, but we obviously liked Ryan Yarbrough because he kind of did that. He's a swingman opener, can give you 4 to 5 innings to start a game or take 4 innings out of a bullpen. He's that kind of guy. Is he consistent? No, but I just think he was healthy last year. He got ready. He could have helped us down the stretch in September, but this front office didn't want to use him. So I don't know how they view him. Obviously, this was a Zach Scott move. That was one of his few moves that offseason, or Sandy or Zach Scott, that transition period. So not an Epler guy, so he doesn't have the link, especially how many relievers that he has brought in. So again, I think Lucchesi does kind of have that uphill battle, but again, him being left-handed, he'll always have a job somewhere. And then obviously with the Mets, they definitely need an extra lefty. Hearing the rumblings about Acuna looking to get out in Atlanta. Is that real? Like, I saw him. It's not, but like, I can understand it. Everybody else getting paid, but nobody's getting paid in Atlanta. Everybody's getting these like 10 cents on a dollar deals. I mean, yeah, you're getting like a penny.
They lock him down. They lock him down in these arbitrations.
Dude, they put these guys to gunpoint. They're like, you know what? You're signing this deal. We're gonna find your family. Like, that's what Anthopoulos does. Like, we've seen it before.
I thought you were literally gonna bend over and literally just pull out a gun. So yeah, okay. Well, Joey Lucchesi, we'll see what happens with him. I mean, there's tons of pitchers that we'll see during spring training that will be battling for these spots, and hopefully that, if they do perform well and multiple guys perform well in spring training, then we'll have some depth coming out of AAA. You sent me something about Carlos Carrasco, which was pretty interesting, that just came out about how, Frankie Montas is most likely going to miss a majority of the season and probably maybe the entire season. Obviously, as a hard thrower that he is, with shoulder surgery. And it looks like the Mets and Yankees did talk about Carlos Carrasco. I did not see. I just saw Yankees and Carlos Carrasco next to it. I just kind of skimmed it completely. But if you want to fill me in on what's going on with that whole situation.
So, obviously, when the Mets were going to sign Carlos Correa, kind of like with the Mets with Eduardo Escobar, they took calls, obviously, because they wanted to move that $13 million. They thought, hey, they were bringing Correa's $30+ million AAV on the table, move that the Carrasco money, and the Yankees were a team that called the Mets about Carrasco. So now, with the Yankees losing Frankie Montas, could that reopen where the Mets maybe could use an extra, see if there's an extra arm, as the Yankees obviously have a pretty good form in AAA. So already taking Zach Green. Maybe there's they got a couple of power guys, maybe. I've more of a fantasy, but maybe Gleyber Torres becomes available. That's a little much, but, let's get some power. I don't know where the hell you play for the Mets, but you've got some power. They have a logjam of infielders. The Mets trying to move Carrasco, so I can give a straight-on Peterson versus McGill battle for the 5th spot, which they already said they want. I'll look at some prospects for the Yankees, but maybe a guy they just got from the Dodgers. Clayton Beeter.
We're getting IKF from that trade because we need.
No. Now we'll finally get Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson for Carlos Carrasco. Who says no?
No.
Hey, it's bad contract for bad contract.
Trade Khalil Lee. I think we got some other problems with Khalil Lee. If you want to, we'll dust up on that for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
So Khalil Lee has obviously had some legal troubles in the last 2 weeks, shall we say? We're not going to get fully into it, but he was just invited to spring training after being DFA'd for Sam Coonrod, outrighted to AAA, and now was just voluntarily invited to spring training. I personally think this is a bad look. I'm not going to lie. Listen, innocent until proven guilty, 100%. That's just how it is. But he shouldn't be here. He should not be there while this investigation is going on. If he's still part of the organization, he's still part of the organization until the investigation is done. But he should not be there. I've talked so many times. We talk about Bauer. We talk about all of these guys who have had this trouble in the past. Whether they're innocent or guilty or not, it's going to be a distraction. And I do not like stuff like that in my clubhouse. But you know what? Whatever. The Mets seem to just go to the beat of their own drum. To be honest, Carrasco isn't a good pitcher anymore. I wish we can trade him. I'm open to dealing him. Obviously, he's in the contract year. This is last year. Obviously, anywhere that he gets traded, he's going to be a rental. I don't know. I think it made sense to deal him, but that's just me, and he's still here. You can never have enough pitching, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, he's not. He's movable. Just running.
He is movable. He has value. Yeah.
And especially now to a desperate team, the Yankees losing a starter. I'm just throwing a trade or two together, and just trying to figure out something. Hey, Donaldson. I mean, worse, you don't want to take the Donaldson contract. How about Aaron Hicks? Aaron Hicks, Carlos Carrasco. Who says no?
If they want to go young, if the Yankees want a young arm, I mean, David Peterson's available.
Gleyber Torres or David Peterson. No. Hey, what about Jason Dominguez? Oh man, Severino. I don't really like. I don't know
more than 130 innings pitched.
Who?
Possible. Probably Carrasco.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna. If you're my bet. My hope is 120, and that's being nice. Luch. What about Lou Trevino? Trevino would be nice. Hey, it's another asset. I don't care. Gets rid of Carlos Carrasco. It's not IKF, DJ LeMahieu bring that atrocity over.
IKF doesn't walk batters though.
I don't care about walks, but what's it called?
I do. The new rules will fuck up Cortez months.
Oh yeah, Cortez is screwed. Like that he can't do that stupid.
Cole is Cole's not watched. Relax.
He's not a generational.
Rodon's hit or miss. Rodon's a good pitcher. Dylan Cease, I want him. Well, that's going to take a haul if you want him.
I think if you're looking for pitching for the Mets,
Seth Lugo being a starter is crazy. Yeah, I mean, let the Padres figure that out. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying there. I mean, and is he pitching for Team Puerto Rico? No, he's not. He's not pitching for Puerto Rico.
He's not going to pitch for Puerto Rico. No.
So, I mean, Seth always wanted to be a starter, so see how that works.
Yeah, have fun.
But I'm just ready to go. Oh,
he hasn't been able to. He hasn't been able to, condition well as a reliever these last 2 years. So I don't know how the hell that's going to work. But
yeah,
that's not my problem right now.
He's insane.
That's greater than the Braves.
Again, we can do this. Oh, on paper they're better, but again, they have their BS that just they have our number. So
Yeah.
But again, we can on paper the Mets have you can go position by position. Like, oh, we have better this. Who are the Yankees five starters from? Who are the
Cole.
five? Cole, Rodon, Nestor, Severino, and then now who knows?
Clark Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt, I guess.
Do you think Ohtani gets traded?
Do you think Ohtani gets traded? I hope so, because that takes qualifying all for all. Seeing Swanson was good. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with not seeing Dansby Swanson hit piss missiles off Scherzer anymore. Yeah, I'm all for that. But I mean, Vaughn Grisham is not the greatest, but again, knowing their devil magic, they'll turn him back into a decent ball player. So I was always terrified that they were gonna get Willy Adames. Because them and the Dodgers, I was like, why are they not trading for Adames? One, especially for the Braves, with the ball go boom, they don't care about anything else. Adames was perfectly there. But the Dodgers and neither of them wanted to get a shortstop. So I mean, I could change at the deadline, and especially I think the Brewers are the team to watch because obviously they got the frontline pitching. They have Jesse Winker they could potentially flip as a free agent at the end of the year. They've got obviously in himself and Willy Adames that they can move. So again, that's just kind of a wait and see kind of team for the deadline. The Angels as well. They got plenty of nice options, not just excluding Shohei Ohtani, but some bats, a couple relievers. So again, we're not even on the season yet. We don't know what the hell the season's going to look like, but you're looking forward to the deadline. There's a few major pieces that you would like to see the Mets add from some teams. Do you think Corbin Burns gets traded? I think one of them gets traded this year, and I think they maybe try to hold on the other one next year. I think both of them end up being traded. I think one gets traded. I think Woodruff probably goes this year. Burns probably goes next year. What the package looks like? I dropped my. Again, you're looking at top prospects, especially with a year and a half for this year's case because they have a year left after this season. But again, probably Mauricio would go the other way if you're trading for a Burns or a Woodruff. That's a starting piece. Maybe you throw in a Vientos. If they like any of your pitching, which would be a sign if the Brewers I want this specific pitcher, they see something in him. So maybe look at him a little different. But again, I think Mauricio is probably the big starting point with either one of those guys going the other way to the Mets. So again, I think, let the season go for a while. I think the Brewers, the Angels, whoever's left in Oakland, Seth Brown, about it, maybe. Ramon Laureano maybe has a bounce back season. That's about it. But those are kind of the teams, if you're looking down the line, what could be. Cleveland is Shane Bieber. They're just weird. They won't pay anybody, but they pay J-Ram, so maybe that changed. Who knows? But again, maybe a Cal Quantrill, a Bieber, guys like that. But again, season hasn't even started yet. We're already talking about the deadline. We're at spring training. Everyone's got the same record as of right now. So we have the ideas of who we want to see moved to the Mets. We want to see on the Mets. I'm still going to be punching that Hunter Renfroe drum to play left field. But again, we got a whole 5-6 months for the trade deadline. So we're going to be talking about this all month, all spring, all season. Who knows? And who knows? If the kids pop off, maybe the Mets don't need the power protection. Maybe Vogelbach does have that 30-homer season. Brett hits 25. Alvarez comes up, and let's say Nito or Narvaez gets hurt and takes the job and runs with it, and he hits 25 to 30. There's your power protection. You're not adding that piece. But I do think they're going to have to add a starter because of probably an innings limit on Senga. And then obviously with the guys at the front, you would like them to add another young ace and Woodruff for Burns or Bieber or someone like that. You would like to see them add another middle reliever to take some pressure off Senga, which I do expect them to do. But again, we got 6 months, guys. I get it. We appreciate all the we have season haven't started yet. We're already talking about trade for people. You got the team. Team hasn't even hit the field yet. All right, and we would say, okay, this guy gone.
Tyler Naquin has not even been signed yet. I mean,
Tyler Naquin doesn't even have a job yet. Brad Hand doesn't even have a job yet. But
I hope he goes jobless forever.
No, But again, let's enjoy the team for a little bit before we start. Hey, this guy, and I think again, if I would love this MLB trade deadline to be like the NBA deadline where every superstar is getting traded. So for entertainment purposes, can we get Brad Hand? Yes, sir. Put him in the bullpen.
No, never. That will never happen. He's done forever. His career is actually ended. He just retired. Go fuck yourself. Leave. And he's still unsigned. You know why? Because he sucks.
Well, okay. No, he's waiting for that Chafin to set the market. That's why. He didn't want to be the first guy. He had a better year than Chafin last year.
Yeah, and Chafin signed, and where's he going?
Well, so is the guy we talked about. So is the Britton.
Stinky.
Nah, he's got that good ERA.
Yeah, I don't care. He's just really, really bad, and that's why he's gone nowhere. Yeah, I don't know why Pete looks so skinny. It's kind of unsettling, but
yeah, he looks very thin. I'm like, both Vogelbach and him lost a ton of weight, so we don't want a Dom Smith 2.0. He lose the fatness and then he start hitting. Will Smith is a good signing. He's kind of in that Britton mold where he's like,
got a good bullpen, top starters, and this year better hitting. I hope so, man. I hope that hitting's better. I don't know. I don't think they did enough to this lineup, but that's what the trade deadline's for another Darren Ruff.
Another Dan Vogelbach. But yeah, again, I think Will Smith, who knows? Again, he's kind of that Britton where he's the old aging arm. Didn't have a great season last year going through Atlanta. And did he pitch better with Houston? I know he was bad with Atlanta. I didn't know if he pitched a little bit better with Houston. It wasn't on the playoff roster, so it wasn't that good.
Will Smith's still 33.
He's 33. All right. It's not terrible.
I mean,
for relievers.
He's not you pick him up, whatever. But
I mean, I think, I don't know. This is a name that a lot of people don't want to. I guess don't know about, but TJ McFarland could be an option. That he had a really good year 2 years ago. He had a bad year last year. Yeah, look at his 2021. He was nasty with the Cardinals. So yes, we have Rayleigh, which is probably the best lefty or second best lefty in baseball. That is just sex. And I've been clamoring for a second lefty in the pen. If TJ McFarland has a good spring, he can be that. And if he's back to that 2021 form, McFarland can be a perfect number 2.
But what are you going to do about David Peterson?
David Peterson's a long man. I don't count him as, I want 2 reliever lefties. I don't want a long man.
David Peterson belongs in AAA.
Again, if it's one, there's never a bad one. Especially if it's a minor league deal, I'd be all for it. But I just don't think. And they've already showed that they value Britton for some, or they have interest in Britton more than. And I haven't even heard anybody talk about for Will Smith. Nobody really has been. Same thing with Brad Hand, and Britton has had the occasional article. But even Chafin, we heard nothing from. I saw something about the Cardinals had some interest, but that was in Christmas time, and then I never heard anything else about them. So these lefties have had no interest from anybody or any reports. Should you burn your jersey? No, don't. Just wasting money for it. Just put it in do what I do. Put it in the closet, and then on a throwback Thursday, wear it when his career's over, I guess. That's what I'm going to do. Sell it, sell it's a little bit better. You can make a couple bucks off it, make a couple bucks.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, so right now we're 10 days away from spring training games beginning. In that span, we're going to have some stuff that comes out. We will obviously have the podcast, which is going to be moved to Monday officially. That will be our podcast day from now on. It just was a better situation for all 4 of us. We also have a video about a full-on spring training outlook, which will most likely be out the day before the first spring training game. And we also have 40-man roster rankings and projections, but that'll be out a little bit later. Tons of stuff coming through spring training. We'll probably have some post games as well. whether it's going to be hosted by Frank About Sports or it's going to be hosted by us. We'll, discuss everything going on with you guys. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Also, I've noticed this. There's more night games in spring training, which I am all for.
There's a lot.
Give me
yeah,
more
that's pretty
night
awesome.
Games. Those are better for post games too. We like recording at night, so for night games, there's a good chance probably they're getting a post game because it's just easier for us.
Will we trade Matt Allen for what though?
For what? A bag of chips?
What are you going to trade him for? Bag of chips?
I mean, hell,
he's got no value.
I would trade him for a Chick-fil-A gift card for like $15. A Chick-fil-A gift card. I'd make that trade.
That's not.
I think
funny.
we win that trade.
This is not funny anymore. Can we live stream the games? That is very, very, very not possible.
That new website, you think? Can you do it on that new streaming service or what everybody's talking about? Is he further or whatever?
Going live during the games most likely will not happen.
Yeah, those are weird. Those are annoying. If you guys didn't realize, we say a lot of dumb shit when we watch baseball games, so we don't want that on the internet. If we do want jobs outside of this, because we're
also dumb, it's just a real pain in the ass.
If we'll do watch parties again if we get to a certain number, maybe we'll consider it. But as of this season, the beginning, probably not. But maybe down the line, potentially.
It probably will not happen. I can tell you that. Most likely will not happen. But we will be covering it. Some
pre-games,
in and out,
obviously a lot of post-games. All right, you want to ask the chat to see what they prefer? They want live the post-game content or whatever? You want to just do that our way?
I think I'd rather do that live. Guys, let us know. I mean, we're gonna probably do post games for. We'll obviously have more content that we did last year. We're definitely going to be stepping it up a little bit more this year. But let us know. I mean, do you guys want us to do post games live, which I personally prefer, or if you guys want us to do quick short videos for those post games. But yeah.
My wish for the season: dump Ruff, trade Vogelbach, trade Carrasco, bring in a second lefty. Yeah,
it's my same list too.
Maybe keep Vogelbach, put Eduardo Escobar. But that's just me.
No, get rid of him too. Get rid of both of them. There's a lot of fat on this roster. That a
lot of fat, but all the fat guys are getting skinny.
No pun intended. No pun intended. To be honest, a lot of useless pieces that I would like to get rid of. I love Vogelbach. He's a great hitter, but I don't know. No positional flexibility. So
yeah,
get what you can.
Brett Batty needs to start. Yeah, Brett Batty needs to start. Should be. Why are you whale calling into the mic?
Train's coming. That means
that sounded like a whale.
Over.
How did that?
I do that every time.
That sounded like a whale, didn't it? That sounded like a whale. That wasn't a train.
I do that every time. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we're gonna end it off here, guys. Tons of spring training stuff coming your way. Before the games begin and as the games begin, we have tons of stuff coming out. Tons of stuff scheduled. Podcast on Monday now, officially. That's where we're going to be moving it to. On the podcast this week, we're going to be doing offensive grades. Yeah. We're going to be doing off-season grades, basically going through every move that they made this off-season for, obviously, the most... See you, Ramon. We're going to go through all the main ones that, are not the most important ones and everything. And we might have a special guest, but that still is not official yet. So might, and I mean might. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go Mets. We will be, live if anybody's arm falls off tonight, but throughout the week, all of this news and coverage about the Mets, you can get it right here. Make sure to go check out our most recent video that was posted yesterday about a lefty reliever that the Mets should add to their bullpen. We'll see if they do it, but I doubt they do. But, it's just a notice put out there. But we'll see you guys next time. Let's go Mets. And baseball is back, and we are getting closer to spring games. We'll see you guys. Peace out.